Hey there, it's John Ray, project lead for NFTREASURE, and in this video, I'm going to go over all the exciting things that are happening inside of the NFTREASURE ecosystem. I just want to say out loud, for anyone who may have missed it, we have officially soft launched NFTREASURE.com. We did that last Saturday. That was January 21st. And now 10 days later, we've done just under $4,000 in e-commerce product sales. That's all completely organic traffic. We've not run any advertising yet. We've also had over 100 new people sign up for our whitelist. And on that whitelist, we ask people what the average number of treasure key NFTs that they're going to be minting. And each person on average plans to mint 5+ keys. So we've got several people on that list that are planning on minting 25 to 75 keys. And all in all, the past 10 days have been a really strong proof of concept. You know, one of the other interesting things that has happened after, me being on all these spaces and us kind of getting our products pushed out all over Twitter is that my calendar has been completely booked, since we launched on the 21st. And I'm meeting with all kinds of project leads that are interested in finding ways to work with NFTREASURE. And I've taken over 20 discovery calls with projects the last week. It's been super busy, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm managing my time properly as well by blocking everything. But everyone is really excited about what we're doing. These are all the types of projects who are planning to order thousands of garments and are interested in really helping us fine-tune some of the digital and augmented reality experiences that we're going to be able to offer on the other side of the NFC scan. Right now you scan it and it authenticates that it's a real garment, but in the future we have all kinds of interesting things planned there. Once you authenticate your NFTREASURE apparel, there'll be all kinds of augmented reality, digital experiences, brand advocacy programs, a lot of things that we can do on the other side of that. And getting exposure to large communities like these who plan to order thousands of garments, that means, tens of thousands of dollars in revenue per project. And we're obviously still in very early days. Like, this is a soft launch just of the e-commerce. We've got the launch of the full crypto side of this thing coming, hopefully at the end of the month, which I'll get into in a little bit. So let me take a step back and let's just talk about our NFC technology. Anybody that's already ordered knows that originally we created an Android and iPhone app that was deployed to each of the app stores. And as we've been experimenting with more orders going out and kind of looking at how many people go to the NFTREASURE app page versus actually download the app versus actually create an account, what that data has shown is that traffic to the App Store was in line with our expectations, but downloads and conversions into account signups were very low. Basically, people don't want to download an app. And so in my conversations this past 10 days with NFT and meme coin project leads, their biggest concern about working with NFTREASURE was that they didn't want to have to force their community to download the NFTREASURE app. So in addition to that, this month there was an issue, just on a global scale working with the app stores, there's been an issue with the more Web3 and crypto stuff that we want to do in the app, the more pushback that we've been getting from the Apple App Store review teams. So Apple, just doesn't really like crypto-related apps. This is well known, and they scrutinize everything to almost an unreasonable level, in my opinion. And so we've had our code rejected twice now for simple updates that we resubmitted with no changes and were later approved. So clearly there's no rhyme or reason for it. And, the system that they have is just not designed for Web3 businesses yet. I think they'll get there, but right now it's not the most optimal way for us to be able to deliver a lot of the crypto functionality that we want to deliver on the other side of the NFC chip. So we have been working on changing our NFC system to a web-based browser app that does not require App Store approval or download. We can do whatever we want because it just loads in your Google Chrome or Safari. This is going to give us much more control over the types of features that we're able to develop in the future. And it makes engaging with our NFC chips a much more frictionless experience. We want somebody to be able to scan their NFC tag and immediately start engaging, with a dashboard that allows them to authenticate the garment, deploy, an augmented reality experience, or tap into one of these brand advocacy tools that we plan to incorporate into that browser-based app. And, as I mentioned, we have a lot of really interesting use cases that, on these calls we're conjuring up with the partners I've been speaking to on Zoom. And I think the next 90 days are going to be a lot of fun as we take the base level tech that we have now and retroactively upgrade, the functionality of all the NFC chips that we have out in the wild. That's the cool part, is that if you have an NFTREASURE garment with an NFC chip in it, it has future potential, because any tech that we build on top of that NFC chip is retroactively going to be fitted to that garment. We're already starting to see how valuable having NFC connected, and authenticated apparel can be. Because if you were in the Discord yesterday, you saw that one of our best-selling designs, the Cock DMC hoodie, has already been forked or stolen by a handful of cheap knockoff websites. And we've sent these websites cease and desist letters. I pinned a form letter that you can send to any website you see using one of our designs. But they say imitation is the best form of flattery. And fortunately for us, it's immediately obvious when one of our designs is a knockoff, because it doesn't have NFC authentication or any connected rewards, bonuses, or back-end digital experiences. So authenticating merchandise against cheap knockoffs like this is the foundational reason that NFC tech is going to become, pretty much ubiquitous in apparel in the future, we think. And NFTREASURE is on the leading edge of that and proving out that use case. So I've been sharing our story with several agencies I know who have scaled graphic tee and clothing brands to over 7 figures a year in revenue. And every single one of them thinks that what we're sitting on is a winner. Super innovative. It's something different. It's something that people are going to be talking about. And they're all eager to get involved, with NFTREASURE and help us scale. Some of the graphic t-shirt brands that these agencies are working with are doing like $30,000 a day in sales. And so we have a lot of work to do to get to that place, but having this kind of guidance, and the potential of bolting on a passionate crypto community onto a tried and tested merchandising model, like a graphic tee business, is just going to be really powerful. And it's going to really ramp up with our Treasure Key NFT when that mint goes live. Right now, as I've mentioned in Discord, our code is in audit again. We've requested a much more thorough review than we received on the last audit. They're going to have multiple senior auditors taking a look and comparing notes. And, that's good for us. That gives us peace of mind. And that, at every level, our code base has been massively improved over the last month. And, our new developers were able to remove 75% of the code that was just technical bloat. And if you've been a part of the beta group, you know that this has resulted in a much more technically sound and efficient loading experience for the DeFi game. And more importantly, it makes us airtight when it comes to security. So once we get the audit back, and that's probably going to be at the end of this week or sometime next week, we'll be ready to vote on the Treasure Key mint date. And this date is going to obviously coincide with launching the Treasure token and the DeFi game. And we've had a lot of discussion in Discord about the right way to launch the Treasure token. And there's been a ton of really good ideas that have been submitted. And one thing that we've been aware of is that the Treasure token is not a meme coin. Meme coins typically release their entire token supply, all at once and then renounce the contract immediately while burning the liquidity. The Avalanche Foundation has put out some pretty solid guidelines for what proper meme coin launches should look like. We want to be as close to those best practices as possible while still recognizing that maybe Treasure becomes a meme coin, but it's not going to be launching as a meme coin because Treasure is a DeFi token, to start with until we hit max supply. And it has an expanding supply via the DeFi game. So, when we launch the treasure token, we're not releasing 100% of the supply the way that a meme coin would. We're only going to be releasing 1% of the total supply. That will start the liquidity pool. And, we should be thinking about our launch somewhat differently than you may have seen some of these past meme coin launches. Our thinking is that we will release 1% of the supply into the initial LP with a temporary restriction that makes it so that no one wallet can buy more than 1% of the 1%. But remember, we're only releasing 1% of the supply. So the token distribution over users and the threat of bots is less relevant to us, because once people enter the treasure box game with their keys, there will immediately be more treasure available via the DeFi game. And that allows, the DeFi players to more effectively manage their token position and their LP as a whole. And so bots dumping on you is going to be less of an issue because the DeFi game participants could just dump on the bots. And so we don't feel that it's going to be as big a deal as if all tokens were available all at once. Remember, 99% of the token supply isn't going to be in the LP to start with. So when we vote on a launch mint date, we're also going to be voting on a final treasure token launch strategy. But releasing 1% into the LP, that's going to be paired with around $20,000 of AVAX for a total starting LP of around $40,000 in liquidity. We'll have a wallet limit of only 1% of the 1% over the first 24 to 72 hour period. And we think that seems like a pretty solid way for us to spin everything up and get things going. Let us know what you think in Discord. Obviously, we can still have community discussion about this, and then we'll do a final vote in the coming week or two. The aim is to have all of this ready by the end of February, so that we can rush into March as treasure key holders. I'll have more on this, obviously, once we get the code back from the auditor. We need a clean bill of health from them, but we feel pretty confident that we'll be getting that. Let's see. I guess a few other things to highlight, if you didn't see them, are that I've been making the rounds on Twitter Spaces and speaking to folks about NFTREASURE, wherever I can. You can find the recorded links to those spaces in the Discord announcement that had this video link. But the overall feedback has been that, the more people learn about NFTREASURE, the more hype they get about the launch and the potential of this project. And we expect that this enthusiasm will just continue to grow, and more people, or as more and more people get their apparel and their NFTREASURE gear that they ordered in the mail, I think they're going to recognize how much higher quality it is than the gear that they're used to getting from the Web3 space. And I've done some recorded podcasts. I've been, in a tweet storm that's getting retweeted by high-profile accounts. Like, we're really starting to get the word out there. And on these recorded podcasts on various crypto channels, those will have timed releases. So over the coming weeks, you'll start to see podcasts that I've done being released as we lead into the launch, hopefully at the end of February. So all that to say, NFTREASURE, I know, has been a slow cooker. There's a lot to unpack in our ecosystem, but over the last 10 days, I've started to see the light bulb go off in people's minds, and it's going to get really exciting as that level of understanding spreads. People, I think, are starting to get what we've been building over here, and that's powerful. I know there's been a handful of people that are eager to learn, when are we going to do marketing for Smarter? When are we going to be pumping the Smarter token? When are we running advertising into the token? And some of what I've been trying to do as I'm going into all these spaces is just get the message of what NFTREASURE is out into the ecosystem so that people are talking about it, so that people are starting to dive into the white paper. Because then when we run advertising for the Smarter token, there's a community of a wider community of people that already kind of understands how that fits in. And so when somebody starts Googling it or searching it on Twitter, there's going to be existing conversation that ties into the larger narrative. And we've held off really on running those ads because we think that they're going to be more effective when we have a launch date to actually promote. because once people realize, oh, it's go time, that's going to be the most optimal time to teach people about Smarter being the burn token. Once we have that launch date, we're going to be running some crypto PR, paid AMAs, a few KOLs or influencer shout outs, and we'll just kind of play around with the mix of those things and see how they convert. And then, of course, we'll be running some token tracker ads to really promote Smarter as the burn token in the NFTREASURE ecosystem. So that's coming up in the latter part of the month. And those ads are going to be showcasing that the only way you can up-level your key to earn 40% commissions on merchandise and sales is burning your Smarter into your key. We're going to be paying out our first commissions for merchandise in the store tomorrow, and we'll be paying commissions on the first of every single month moving forward. So, it's going to be exciting on the first of each month to see people posting about the commissions that they received from NFTREASURE. Currently this is a manual process, but we're making some progress on the back end of the new vendor tracking software that we have. And that's going to allow each creator or designer or vendor, whatever name you want to call it, to see when their design sells, how many sales they have, what their cumulative commissions for the month are. And then eventually there's just going to be a claim contract that gets filled on the first of every month. And that's going to decentralize the process of issuing commissions significantly. For now, the Treasury will just be paying those out individually to people who have products that received a commission. But, we've only been live for 10 days, and in just over a week, some of our top designs have earned hundreds of dollars in commissions, with some creators breaking the $500 mark in commission payouts in just 10 days. So that's not bad for simply putting a few designs up on the store and tweeting them out. And I think as more and more people see the opportunity here, it's going to get pretty wild. Especially as we ramp up our ability to take people's creative ideas and get it on the front end of the store. So that brings me to, I guess, my biggest call to action over the coming weeks is that we need more designs. We're offering 40% commissions to all designers in the NFTREASURE ecosystem and to all designs on the e-commerce store. Those 40% commissions will go until we launch the Treasure Key NFT, and then for 30 days after that launch. And this is basically free money for anyone who wants to flex their creativity a little bit and get a design up on the store and then promote it a little bit. For the rest of this week, you can submit designs for free by going into the Creator tool. You mock up your design in the Creator tool, you submit it as an order, and then instead of paying for the order, you're going to use the coupon code NOSHIPJustCreate. And this is going to move your design to our back end and allow us to put it up on the store. We've been fine-tuning this process to make it a little bit more streamlined. So apologies on the delay for some of you who have already been submitting designs. We're going to have all designs up on the store by the end of the week and a much better system in place for moving those designs from the back end to the front end quickly. Obviously in the future, this is all going to be automated and we're aiming to have those new automations and upgrades up and ready for the time that we launch at the end of the month. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then after this week, so remember you can submit designs this week for free. After this week, the listing fee is going to move to $3 per listing. This is simply just to curate for quality. We want people to only be submitting your best designs, and the $3 fee is a way for us to make sure, that we inspire the highest quality and most well thought out designs in the store so that we don't get overrun with just spam designs. So that means for the next few days, you can still submit designs for free. You're going to be earning 40% commissions for nearly 60 days. That could potentially be worth a lot of commissions, a lot of money. The reason we've opened up commissions to the full 40% is so that everybody can see how powerful having a fully leveled up treasure key really is. We're going to be paying one of our creators over $500 tomorrow in commissions, and next month, that could be anybody. That could be you. As word spreads on the amount of commissions that we're paying out and the huge earning potential that comes with NFTREASURE, we feel this is going to be a really great, way to drive engagement for the NFTREASURE or for our Treasure Key NFT mint, because obviously after 30 days after mint, everybody's commissions are going to reset to your key level, and you're going to have to earn that 40%, which means that people are going to have to buy smarter to level up their keys. So as we can connect that 40% commission, and the payouts of those commissions into the idea that smarter is the burn token. You have to have 2.1 billion smarter tokens to up-level your key all the way. This is, I think, going to be a good way to drive engagement to the smarter token, because burning smarter to up-level your key is the way that you maximize your earning potential in the NFTREASURE ecosystem. So let me know what you think about that. Let me see your designs. Submit those through our process. If you have a question, this process is pinned in the Discord general chat and the beta chat. And I guess I'll shift gears a little bit and just do a quick update on our expenses for the past 2 months. And yeah, I put a screenshot of this in the announcement section of Discord, but I'm going to go through the high-level numbers here, and you can grill into some of the granular detail in that announcement post. So in December, our expenses were $30,967.91, and in January, our expenses were $34,403.77, and both of those were paid for with OTC trades of Smarter. Now that we're going to be getting rid of the need to manage 2 different apps in the Android and Apple Store, that was a lot of dev time just to be thinking about managing that and making sure that everything's maintained. And then given that much of the last 2 months was completely refiguring the DeFi game after losing one of our developers, we do expect that our developer expenses are going to begin to decrease in the coming months, because we'll be wrapping up, for the most part, development of the core features. So all told, we're averaging around $33K a month in expenses, and 100% of these expenses are now being paid by OTC trades in the Treasury for Smarter tokens. And that's mostly just me swapping my personal USDT DC for Smarter, and you've seen probably a couple of larger OTC trades that popped up in the OTC channel that helped us cover those expenses. What else? The remaining budget that we have in the Treasury is for liquidity and for our launch. So all developer expenses are going to be the result of OTC trades until we have our mint. So if you're looking to load up on some Smarter before launch and you're interested in purchasing more than $10,000 worth of Smarter tokens, please reach out to me and we will arrange an OTC trade with the NFTREASURE. What else? I think we're creating the right level of enthusiasm that's going to be required for us to have a successful launch and mint, and our promotional efforts are only going to grow over the coming weeks. And the runway for continuing to build this project is really going to come from funds raised during the Treasure Key NFT mint and e-commerce sales. So these funds are going to be put towards future development costs and expenses, and a portion of the mint is going to go to deepen liquidity. So we'll vote on what this should be, but if we assume that 20% of the mint is going to be moved into liquidity and 2,000 keys are going to be minted for free, that leaves a potential raise of around $1 million. 200,000 of that would go into the liquidity pool, and the other 800,000 would be runway for us to ramp up our ads, ramp up our marketing budget, and continue to build out all of the features that we need to have in order to really create that wow factor. We're not reliant on the Treasure Key mint for our success, fortunately. As we scale our e-commerce sales, really the aim is to be self-sustaining and have all of our expenses paid by our product sales alone. And the ultimate goal, obviously, is that after the initial Treasure token supply has been minted into the bonus pool, remember there's something like 74 million Treasure tokens that are newly minted into the bonus pool. And so That's a way to seed early participants and spread that treasure token out. And the treasure buybacks, those begin when we have hit our expense threshold and when we, what's the word that I'm trying to find? We hit our expense threshold and all of the tokens have been minted into the bonus pool. The ultimate goal is to be able to consistently increase our marketing spend month over month, by using that excess revenue as a way to grow engagement in the project. And that engagement will come from us having these events where the treasury is buying up the treasure token and then moving that into the bonus pool for distribution. So the NF Treasury ultimately will become a forced buyer of the treasure token, and will be using the newly minted bonus pool tokens as a way to reward early participants as we ramp up e-commerce sales, so that down the line those buybacks are meaningful. At the beginning of the video, I talked about some of the graphic tee and clothing brands that these agencies I'm talking to are working with. They're doing crazy amounts of revenue in their e-commerce store, and so we're aspirationally reaching for the same thing. We are in a niche that I think we'll be able to dominate because we're one of the only core players that has such a tightly knit system that's speaking to that niche. So it's going to be fun to see how we scale up and ramp up those sales over the coming months. Obviously, the treasure token is a way for you to get rewarded for your engagement in NF Treasure, and it's the input from the e-commerce store that allows us to attract more sponsors. It's the input from the DeFi game that allows us to be able to show how many people are logging into the site. So when we take total number of e-commerce customers and total number of people that are logging into the DeFi site every single day, that's a meaningful number for us to go and attract sponsors and put prizes in those treasure boxes and educate more people about decentralized finance and really provide sustainable yield as part of our Web3 e-commerce reward system. That's what we're building out here. And I'm pretty stoked about it. I think the feedback has been above and beyond what I would have hoped. We really have people that are excited about what we're doing, and I think that's about it for my update. Obviously, there's a lot happening in NF Treasure and a lot more to come. Be sure that you're tuned into the Discord. Things are just starting to heat up, and you can feel how excited people are getting as they begin to really dive into the master guide video that's at nftreasure.com now, and of course the white paper that's on the website under the Learn More tab. So if you have questions about something that I didn't cover, definitely hop into the Discord. We can continue the conversation there. This past week, we proved our thesis. I think anybody paying attention recognizes that. So people want to support creators and the projects that they care about by purchasing merchandise with either fiat or crypto. So thank you to everybody who ordered a piece of NF Treasure gear. Everything is now out in the mail. You should get a tracking number, if not today, tomorrow. We're setting up the tracking system so that will start going immediately out when you order a product in the future. Things took a little longer this week because we had to quickly get all of our systems up to speed with the new order flow. But now that everything is synced, our aim is to have orders delivered to people from time of order to being on your doorstep within 5 to 7 days if you're in the United States, and 11 to 15 days if you're international. Now, some of this is going to be out of our hands, based on the carrier you choose at checkout for your shipping method. But we're going to continue to tighten our delivery time so that, everybody can get their gear as quickly as possible. This helps our e-commerce ads perform better because then people will show back up and comment on the ad saying, hey, I got it really quick. And so this drives more adoption and it makes us a better solution than other providers that are out there. This kind of turnaround where we get it delivered within 5 to 7 days or 11 to 15 days internationally would be unprecedented in the industry, given each of our garments is hand pressed and made to order. So We feel this is a strong goal to stretch towards, but we are still stretching towards it. So I appreciate everybody's patience while we kind of get everything up to speed. And now that we have a strong proof of concept and the spark has been lit, it's really time to start pouring fuel on the fire. And we'll be doing that with continued publicity, going on podcasts, going on YouTube channels, going on all these Twitter spaces, and then running ads. And as we set a launch date, I already have many of these things that are lined up and ready to go with people that are excited to talk about NFTREASURE. So it's going to be a fun month, y'all. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the feedback. As you get your gear, definitely let us know areas that we can improve in so that we continue to tighten the reins. And if you have anything else, we'll see you in Discord. Bye.